I can't tell you how many times in my career I've made the mistake of thinking more is better. And it's like, oh, we need to have more team members. We need to have more products. We need to have more offerings. We need to have more content. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having some type of comparative thing where I may have looked out on the landscape and said, oh, I'm behind. I should be doing X because all this stuff. And in practice, when I've executed on those things and had the more, it's been a shit show. Do you know? And so I've learned, thankfully, how to keep at least testing for myself the inverse of going like, there's a mantra that I live by, simplify to amplify, because I've seen it work a lot of times that when I simplify something, I can actually amplify an outcome that's really important to me, whether it's joy or freedom or peacefulness or something like that. And it helps me at least challenge my own wiring and conditioning. So I just want to talk about this with you because I'd never seen any scientific research, journalistic material around this before. What is it about us where it's like less sucks, or at least our brains equate that?
Can I had an idea as you were talking. Can
Yeah,
I quickly
please.
theorize? So I would wonder if the times where you have been like, okay, I need to add.
Yeah.
What might have happened is that you might have been measuring something that fell into the scarcity loop. And when it stopped delivering or when it went flat, you go, what's going on? I got to do something. And then your default is to add to more. So
Yes.
for example, like you're watching the income track up, it's unpredictable. You're like, oh, it went up this much. Oh, it went up this much. And then when it started to go flat, you go, why the hell is the slot machine not working? We got to do something. And then your default is to add. So I'll tell you why the default is to add. So this study, it started really in a great, just amazing way. There's this guy whose name is Leidy Klotz, and he's one of the best engineering professors in the country, basically, long story short. And he is sitting down with his son, who is 3 years old. The kid's name is Ezra, and they are playing with Legos. Now they're building this bridge, and they've got this bridge, and it's at a weird angle because one of the pillars is tall and one of the pillars is short. So it's at this crazy angle. And so they're going to fix it, right? Now the Mr. PhD Smarty Pants engineer goes, I know how we can fix this. And he turns around and he starts going through the bucket of Legos to find more Legos to prop the bridge up. And he turns around and he's got the Legos, and his son has done something pretty awesome. And that's that he has fixed the bridge. He did it by removing some of the blocks. So now if you think about it, he goes, I didn't even think of that, 1. And 2, it was the better solution because now we have more Legos to use to do an entire city, right? And it's also more stable because it's not as high as off the ground. And he's like, wow, I just got out-engineered by a 3-year-old. And he goes, I wonder if other people are like this too, right? I mean, my brain just immediately defaulted to this adding thing. So he starts taking the bridge around. He works at University of Virginia. He starts taking it around the engineering department. And he will pull it out, and it's like wonkily shaped. And he said, puts Legos on the table, and he tells his colleagues, he tells students, and he goes, hey, would you fix this? Every single person fixed it by adding Legos to the bridge. So after he's got that, he goes, okay, this is a thing. You know, I'm not an idiot. All of us got bested by this 3-year-old, right? He decides he's going to set up a bunch of studies, sets up 8 different studies. One of them, the participants had to stabilize a Lego bridge, as you might expect. There was another one where they had to make a mini golf course hole better. And the hole was already just jam-packed with like features, like crap, right? Basically, long story short is in that all 8 of these experiments, taking away, subtracting was the right answer to improve the problem every single time. And in some of the experiments, he even told people like, I want you to know that you can take items away to solve this problem. Some of them he would even charge people if they added things, right? All 8 of these, every participant would try and solve the problem by adding elements. So they would add Legos to solve the problem with the mini golf hole. They added all sorts of crap to the hole. So it's like this hoarder hole, right? Every single experiment. And so his takeaway, it's like I wrote in the book, is that humans are sort of wired to add. To add resources, to do more, to just keep doing and doing and doing and adding and adding and adding. Now, it would be one thing if people were looking at their problems and going, okay, maybe I'll add, but maybe I could subtract, right? If we were weighing both options and we decided to add, fine. But the point is that most people are just going to default to adding, and they're not even going to consider subtraction. And subtraction is often the best solution, and we just completely overlook it. And that probably goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning, is that for all of time, if you were a human evolving in this rough and tumble landscape where you didn't have enough, it made sense to add.
Yep.
Never made sense to subtract.
Yep.
Never until about 150 years ago, to take food as an example, has it made sense to try to eat less. Now we literally have a country full of people being like, God, I need to figure out how to eat less.